Hey there folks, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince. Welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, there's one thing I need to talk about first before I get into the main blog. And that just happens to be about a person named Dolly Levi. Who's Dolly Levi, you ask? Well, if you guys are into musical theater, you guys might know who she is. But for those who don't know, she is a life-loving widowed matchmaker who is from a show/movie called Hello, Dolly, which also happens to be one of the favorite shows at Musical Theater Village, which I have been performing for some time. In fact, they love it so much that they named an entire trophy after Dolly. I first performed in Hello, Dolly back in the summer of 2011 as 3 different characters: men's chorus, a balloon mime, and a waiter named Hank. And trust me when I say that performing in that show was really fun. And that was before my leg got surgery on it. Now, this year my theater friends are using Hello, Dolly to kick off the new year. And not only am I reprising 2 of the roles I had before, but I also have a new character to play as, named Ambrose Kemper, the artist. Now, since Hello, Dolly is close to, for being performed, I decided to blog something from Pixar that has a bit of Dolly in it. What does this movie have to do with Hello, Dolly, you ask? You'll see. Released on June 27th, 2008, the movie is WALL-E. Now, let's get started. WALL-E is the last robot left on Earth. He spends his days tidying up the planet, one piece of garbage at a time. But during 700 years, WALL-E has developed a personality, and he's more than a little lonely. Then, one day he spots Eve, a sleek and shapely probe sent back to Earth on a scanning mission. Smitten by all this, WALL-E embarks on his greatest adventure yet when he follows Eve across the galaxy to the Axiom ship. Now, what do I think of this movie? Well, I thought it was pretty good and really interesting. I mean, it's not like most of the other futuristic films I've seen, like Total Recall, Avatar, Terminator, or anything like that. No. This one seems more tamer and more family-friendly. But, before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. Andrew Stanton, the director of Finding Nemo, conceived WALL-E during a lunch with fellow writers John Lasseter, Pete Docter, and Joe Ranft in 1994. Toy Story was nearing completion, and the writers brainstormed ideas for their next projects like A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., and Finding Nemo. Stanton asked, what if mankind had to leave Earth behind and somebody forgot to turn off the last robot? Having struggled for many years with making the characters in Toy Story appealing, Stanton found his simple Robinson Crusoe idea of a lonely robot on a deserted planet strong. Stanton made WALL-E a waste collector as the idea was instantly understandable, and because it was a low-status menial job that made him sympathetic. Stanton also liked the imagery of stacked cubes of garbage. He did not find the idea dark because having a planet covered in garbage was for him a childish imagining of disaster. Stanton and Pete Docter developed the film under the title Trash Planet for 2 months in 1995, but they did not know how to develop the story, and Docter chose to direct Monsters, Inc. instead. Stanton came up with the idea of WALL-E finding a planet because his life as the sole inhabitant on a deserted world reminded Stanton of a plant growing among pavements. Before they turned their attention to other projects, Stanton and Lasseter thought about having Wally fall in love, as it was the necessary progression away from loneliness. Stanton started writing Wally again in 2002 while completing Finding Nemo. Stanton formatted his script in a manner reminiscent of Dan O'Bannon's Alien. O'Bannon wrote his script in a manner Stanton found reminded him of haiku, where visual descriptions were done in continuous lines of a few words. Stanton wrote his robot dialogue conventionally, but placed them in brackets. In late 2003, Stanton and a few others created a story reel of the first 20 minutes of the film. Lasseter and Steve Jobs were impressed and officially began development. Man, talk about tons and tons of development. Anyway, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, it's Pixar animation, so there's nothing negative I need to say here. Pixar has improved ever since they begun. They've done great with making Earth look like a deserted junkyard, and I like how outer space looks in this film. Also, the Axiom ship looks pretty neat too. Almost like a luxury cruise ship in space, with lots of activities, and, well, the outfits are okay, and food in cups is, well, okay, I guess. Also, the robots in this film look cool, and the humans, well, while a lot of them are overweight, are animated greatly as well. Also, this movie does include the use of live action, which was a stepping stone for Pixar. Storyboarder Derek Thompson noted, introducing live action meant they would have to make the rest of the film look even more realistic. Eagleston added that if the historical humans had been animated and slightly characterized, the audience then would not have been able to recognize how serious their devolution was. These effects and live-action shots were done by George Lucas's visual studio, Industrial Light and Magic. Now I'd like to talk about the music that plays in this film. Now, a lot of you already know that this film's score was done by Thomas Newman, but that's not all there is in this. There are 2 Hello Dolly songs in this film. There is Put On Your Sunday Clothes, which is one of my favorite Hello Dolly songs that Wally plays on his iPod. I also find it to be a really fun dance number. The other Hello Dolly song that Wally plays is a love song called It Only Takes a Moment, and I absolutely love it too. It always brings a tear to my eye every time I listen to it. There are also a few other songs, such as the end credits song Down to Earth, which is performed by Peter Gabriel. I find this song to be another great one. Plus, Peter Gabriel is one of my favorite singers. Plus, I like how they use different art styles throughout the credits. There's even La Vie en Rose by Louis Armstrong, which plays while Wally is spying on Eve scanning for plant life, and Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin, which is sung by a singing fish in Wally's trailer. I especially love the first date music that plays while Wally takes care of Eve when she's in standby mode. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the characters and their voice actors. The title character, Wally's voice, is provided by Ben Burt, who's a sound designer who's worked on various films such as Star Wars and E.T. and a few others. Wally, or Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class, is a robot who has developed sentience and so far the only one of its kind shown to still be functioning on Earth. He's a small mobile compactor box with a all-terrain trends, 3-fingered shovel hands, binocular eyes, and retractable solar cells for power. Although working diligently to fulfill his directive to clean up the garbage, all the while accompanied by his cockroach friend Hal, and music playing from his onboard recorder, he is distracted by his curiosity, collecting trinkets of interest. He stores and displays these treasures such as a bird cage filled with rubber duckies, a Rubik's Cube, Zippo lighters, disposable cups filled with plastic forks or knives or spoons, and a golden trophy at his home where he examines and categorizes his finds while watching video cassettes of musicals like the previously mentioned Hello Dolly via an iPod viewed through a large Fresnel lens. I also find Wally to be a very likable robot character. He's quiet and a tad clumsy and shy at times, but he's a very loyal kind of character and very friendly. Next, we have Wally's love interest, Eve, or Extraterrestrial Vegetation Evaluator, voiced by Alyssa Knight, who has voiced in Pixar's Cars film prior to this movie. Now, Eve is a sleek robot probe whose directive is to locate vegetation on Earth and verify habitability. She has a glossy white egg-shaped body and blue lead eyes. She moves using anti-gravity technology and is equipped with scanners, specimen storage, and a quasar-ion cannon in her arm, which she is quick to use for defense. I also find her to be tough and a very serious but cute character. We also have Mo, or Microbe Obliterator, also voiced by Ben Burt. Mo is a tiny, obsessively clean maintenance robot with rollers for hands, who keeps the Axiom clean. I find Mo to be pretty funny when his foreign contaminant alarm goes off, and the way he cleans things up almost sounds like an electric shaving razor. Next up is Captain B. Macrea, the commander and apparently only officer on the Axiom, voiced by Jeff Garlin, who would later voice Buttercup the Unicorn in Toy Story 3 and Norman's father in Laika's parent Norman. What I like about this guy is that he's interested in what Earth used to have before they took off into space. His duties as captain are daily routines, with the ship's autopilot handling all true command functions. Speaking of which, Otto's voice is provided by Macintalk, the text-to-speech program for the Apple Macintosh. Otto is the rogue autopilot artificial intelligence built into the Axiom. Unlike other robots in the film, Otto is not influenced by Wally. Instead, he follows Directive A113, which is to prevent the Axiom and the humans from returning to Earth because of the toxicity, and it worked to prevent anyone from deviating from it. To me, this thing is pretty similar to the MCP from Tron, except he has arms that he can use to punch or jolt anybody. He even has robots like Go4 and several sign robots doing his bidding. Next is Shelby Fortright, historical CEO of the By and Large Corporation, played by Fred Willard, whom I remember voicing in Disney Toon Studios' Planes, Fire and Rescue movie. This guy is shown only in videos recorded around the time of the Axiom's initial launch. Constantly optimistic, Fortright proposed the evacuation plans, then to clean up and recolonize the planet. However, 700 years prior to the movie, the corporation gave up after realizing how toxic Earth had become. Fortright is the only live-action character with a speaking role, the first in any Pixar film. Next are John and Mary, voiced by Pixar's John Ratzenberger, and Kathy Najimy. John and Mary both live on the Axiom and are so dependent on their personal video screens and automatic services that they are oblivious to their surroundings. For instance, not noticing that the ship features a giant swimming pool. However, they are brought out of their trances after separate encounters with Wally, eventually meeting face to face for their first time. And finally, the Axiom's computer voice is provided by Sigourney Weaver. Andrew Stanton joked about the role with Weaver, saying, "You realize you get to be Mother now," referring to the name of the ship's computer from the Alien films. And now it's time to move on to my final words. Overall, WALL-E is a wonderful film to come from Pixar. The characters from the humans to the robots are memorable, the story is pretty sweet, and the animation is out of this world. No pun intended, though. While it doesn't give too much of a moral about Earth's future, it still remains a masterpiece in my eyes. I give this film an 87% out of 100. Now, before I go, I would like to invite you, if possible, to see Hello, Dolly perform at Musical Theater Village. The performances will be from February 12th until March 13th, 2016. You can use this link listed here for information on tickets. Anyway, be sure to join me next week, where we move away from 2805 Earth and onto a film that stars an actress whom I met a couple Decembers ago. Mustang Power.